Hi guys. Today I'm gonna be talking about the configuration of ReviewAid version 2.2.0. Many of you guys had doubts about how the configuration system of ReviewAid works, and it's actually easy, but I wanted to demonstrate it myself. So yeah, let's hop on. All right, just hop on ReviewAid website. This is the second website. Anyways, um launch ReviewAid. Right, and this is the main Streamlit app. Right, so acknowledge the disclaimer, agree and continue. I'm gonna just give an example of the extractor. Right, select the extractor, and now here, so this is the configuration system, and this is specific for version 2.0.0 as far as I'm concerned. From those versions, this configuration system has been there. But what's special about 2.2.0 is even the default AI provider has a configuration system, right? So let's assume, okay, just assume I just wanna know a conclusion. I'm not using the tool to the whole efficiency. I'm just gonna show you the configuration system, how does it work, right? I can put an n number of fields to extract, but I don't want to do that right now. Upload, let's upload one paper, some random paper, right? It talks about simultaneous EEG fMRI. It's a clinical paper, right? Right, so this is the default AI provider. This one is using a GLM 4.6 flash, so it's a vision model, and you don't need to put any API keys. So as usual, just proceed the papers, and it's gonna process the paper. Now in case, if it shows server busy or server overload, which happens often because this model is open source. All the models, all the default models are open source. If it happens like that, okay, so the response is received, it's gonna give you this, the conclusion, here you go. But now if this model doesn't work, you now have the option of selecting another model, a 4.7 flash. This is not a vision model, but it's a model which is ahead of 4.6, and again, process it. Right, this is one of the default configurations for basic users, people who don't have any idea about API key, people who want to use ReviewAid's own API keys. This is how default things work. So this is gonna work. I'm just gonna stop it for now because anyway, it did work. Yeah, this is the conclusion. Anyway, one another part is, what if I want to use some good AI, like for example OpenAI, maybe DeepSeek, maybe some Anthropic, Opus or something like that. So here you can choose those, right? So example, if I want DeepSeek, you write down your model name, make sure it's case sensitive. For example, you should be putting it as this: DeepSeek chat, everything small case as per the documentation of the AI provider. In this case, it's DeepSeek. But if you write it down as chat, this will not work even if the API key you provide is correct, right? So make sure it's case sensitive. I'll actually write here, and I'll actually add a disclaimer that it is case sensitive. But yeah, and you provide your API. Now I'm not gonna provide the API key because we have tested this so many times, and yeah, you guys can probably do it. And yeah, again the same thing, and that's how the configuration system works. Now configuration system is the same configuration system is there for Screener as well. It's nothing too different. It's the same. The only part is the Olama key. Now what is the Olama key? Now, Olama is where you download the AI model, and it's offline. It's not connected to any cloud, right? and then you run it. So here there is no API key system. I'm not aware, there might be other AIs which might need AI, API key in Olama, but as far as I remember, and for local, you have to host a model on Olama, and after hosting it, most of the Olamas runs on this port, and this is the base URL. Just write the model name, and yeah, again the same thing. Right now comes the question, what if I wanna run it offline? What if I don't want to run it online, right? So this is the simple stuff, right? Just clone the repo itself, right? So just gonna give an example. Git clone, go to ReviewAid's GitHub repo. So this is the GitHub repo. Just copy the link, just clone the repo, and yeah, let it just clone. Now you can just see this is the cloned material. Go inside. Now make sure you install all the requirements or text. Now in case you guys are confused how to locally host it, it's there in the readme section of uh you know of ReviewAid, which says running, how to run ReviewAid locally with Olama. Even that is there. Quick start, usage online, usage offline, clone, install all the requirements. Okay, since I have all dependencies and I don't want to use a virtual environment, right? Because I store all my dependencies in the main. So I'm just gonna streamlit run app.py. So this runs on a port. So right now it's on 8501. So this is the locally hosted ReviewAid, right? So yeah, again, this is how it is, and I would recommend, if you guys can locally host and use this, that's actually better, because here, Streamlit has some limitations here and there. Yeah, there's no limitations. Plus, combine this with Olama, you have a whole offline, like a foolproof hidden tool to you for yourself, right? And yeah, that is it. And yeah, I hope you guys like the video, and that's it.